why is Goldman doing this? What are they trying to avoid? And is it just the classic, like, under-promising, over-delivering thing?
Look, there is the classic element to all executives try to under-promise ahead of earnings. But for Goldman, it is very different. It is famously reticent about providing any kind of specific guidance mid-quarter to what analysts can expect. But this time has been different. They have been deliberately dropping a number of clues because there is a big slowdown in its investment bank. There are one-off hits in real estate exposures. There is that big unwind of its consumer banking misadventure that is going through right now. And this time they have broken with their own practice and gone out there and tried to flag this to analysts, tried to flag this to investors, and it has worked. In records that we have, the biggest revisions mid-quarter for Goldman's earnings have taken place ahead of the results that we'll see next week. And it doesn't paint a very pretty picture, and Goldman wants to avoid a third straight quarter of earnings day blues for the stock.
So you want to be short in, long out, I guess, of the trade. Shri, just in terms of the damage that was done by those previous 2 quarters, why is it critical that they avoid a third?
Look, you also cannot ignore the broader atmospherics at Goldman right now. There is a lot of talk about the internal bickering and squabbling and a lot of scrutiny and focus on CEO David Solomon's performance. In the last 5 years, the stock has done reasonably well, much better than most peers, still behind Morgan Stanley, still behind a pure play investment bank like Jefferies. But taken on its own relative to an index, it has done well. But that was also lifted by the post-pandemic boom in banking and trading. As that starts to fade, you need more reasons to find cheer in the stock. You haven't seen it this year. It has been one of the poorer performers in the big bank, among the big banks. You haven't seen it in the last 12 months. What they will hope is that there are green shoots going ahead. The capital markets will reopen. The more you see signs like what we saw today, inflation cooling, perhaps the Fed stops on its actions, and therefore what Goldman does best can be done at a larger scale and in greater volumes will help the bank. But that's the kind of things that they need to avoid falling behind, to avoid the stock sort of falling further behind as we go deeper into the year.